everyone, my name is Gabby and it is the first week of May, which means it is Teacher Appreciation Week. So historically in the first week of May, I have been busy with AP tests and final exam preparation and just end of the year stuff in general with clubs and activities, and just life gets really hectic in May as I start to wrap up each school year. So I never had the time to make a video for Teacher Appreciation Week like I would have wanted to, but obviously times have changed and I have the ability to do that now, so I absolutely wanted to make that a mandatory video that I filmed and uploaded on my channel this week. First of all, I want to send out a huge thank you to all of the teachers, educators, professors in the world. If you hold a position in education in whatever capacity it might be, I thank you for all of the work you've been doing, especially during this time. There are so many teachers that had to so quickly adapt to online learning and learn how to use new technology, new resources they may not have been exposed to, and in that time of adapting and having to change their lesson plans around and having to work with their students in an online format, they've still wanted to make sure that all their students' needs are met and that their students are being taken care of during this really odd time, because it can be very difficult as a student to learn online and you can just feel unmotivated or feel frustrated, especially for a lot of seniors who are looking forward to prom and graduation and all of these other experiences that they're not going to have now. It's just a very sad time, but our teachers and our educators have been doing our best to keep their students hopeful and inspired and know that they're going to get through this and that hopefully we'll be together again at some point soon, and that we'll be able to appreciate this time that we had apart in order to be grateful for the times that we do have together. I'm just so grateful for all the educators in my life who have made my educational experiences worthwhile. I've gotten so many wonderful pieces of advice from so many of my teachers because they decided to take the time to sit down with me, to talk to me, to really listen to what it is I have to say and give me advice and just be supportive and be there. And I think that we need that now more than ever from our teachers and our educators, and there's so many great teachers and educators that are doing a very great job of that, and so I'm just so grateful for them, for their quick turnaround time. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is because it's my hope that now, going through what we're going through, that people start to have more appreciation for their teachers and the educators and the work that they do, because it's not easy. I hear so many people say, I can't imagine how easy it is to be a teacher. They don't do that much, and really put a lot of teachers down because they don't value the work that they do. And now's a time when a lot of parents are having to educate their students and they're starting to realize that it's definitely not easy, that it takes a lot of hard work and patience, and a lot of people don't have that, but there's so many great teachers that do, and when they have that and they're able to share that with their students, the students just walk away learning so much more and valuing their classroom experiences so much more. And I know that not all teachers out there are perfect and that there are plenty of teachers out there that are not the best, that are frustrating, that are not accommodating, but I promise you, for every one teacher like that, there are 3 more that are willing to listen, that are willing to be there and willing to be supportive, because those people go into education because they care about their students and care about doing a good job and care about being there for their students and giving them a good foundation as they go into their future and their prospective careers, and hope to give them a model to be able to use and give them advice to be able to take with them throughout their own personal journeys. It's my hope that if you are having any bad experiences with your teachers right now, that that's not the end-all be-all and that that's not your general thought of teachers and professors, because there's so many great ones out there that are really trying their best during this time that deserve your appreciation. So please, if you are a student, shoot your teacher an email this week. Tell them how grateful you are. It only takes a few seconds, a few minutes. It leaves a really strong impression. It shows that you care, that you value what it is your teacher's doing and how quickly they're able to adapt in these circumstances. I think both parties just walk away feeling better. You feel better as a student knowing that you can tell your teacher thank you and know that you can just show them in a very small way that you care, and a teacher who could feel stressed out having to adapt to these circumstances, who could feel sort of sad that their students are having to miss out on a lot of experiences, feels validated in knowing that their students care. It's just a really beautiful and really easy thing that you can do during this time. So please, please, please thank your teachers this week and just make sure that you let them know that they're appreciated for the work that they're doing. So I want to transition now to sort of talking about my experience with my teachers and why Teacher Appreciation Week is so important to me. I'm always been someone who's loved school. I've always loved learning. I've loved being in a classroom environment. Academics were where I thrived and where a lot of my awards and achievements came from. And if anything, my teachers saw my enthusiasm and matched it, and if anything, helped encourage it. So I was always someone who loved school. And I was like this for a large period of my life. And then I got into high school and things started to change a little bit. My freshman year, I struggled in my honors biology class and it caused a few breakdowns, but eventually I got through the end of the year and I was like, okay, it's fine, it's all good, and I sort of moved on from it. Sophomore year, first semester, fine. I really don't think I had too many problems. Second semester of sophomore year was when things really started to go downhill. 2017 was a bad year for me. I started to just not do well in a lot of my classes, and for me, not doing well is I'm getting a B, or I'm getting several questions wrong on a test or a homework assignment that I feel like I should know the answers. My expectations for myself academically are not at the normal standards of most people. So I start to see myself just not performing as well as I normally did, and I start to freak out and be like, this is not me, and if I don't have this, what else do I have? Because I'm not in all these different clubs and activities, I'm not in sports, I'm not in dance outside of school. I have my academics, and that's where I thrive. And that was a really, really bad place to be in mentally, because I was essentially shaming myself for not being this academic standout student that I always was, because I felt like other people counted on me to be that person, to come to answer questions on homework assignments or to help them through something. And if I couldn't be that for them, then who was I? It just felt like this big identity crisis that I was having. And so I eventually went to a counselor and started to have some sessions with her, and things started to get a little bit better. I got through the rest of my sophomore year. Then I get into my junior year, which was absolutely just one of my best years of school because I learned so much and came out of it so much stronger, but an absolute nightmare because I was taking 3 AP classes, an honors math class, I was in a gym class that I had to study for and have assignments in, and I had a part in my school's fall play. I was being inducted into honor societies, and I just had so much more on my plate than I was ever used to, and it was just impossible to manage everything, and I felt so overwhelmed and stressed out and anxious. And to make matters worse, I was bombing tests left and right in my AP physics class, getting 30–40% on tests consistently, and this was not normal for me. It was just not good. I had never performed this badly. Even in my sophomore year, I was fine and I did well and I recovered despite maybe not doing well on a few quizzes and tests here or there. I ended with mostly all A's and maybe 1 B in my honors chem class because I never got any A's in any of the science classes I took in high school. Science, you win. It's fine. I don't care anymore. I have moved on. Anyway, AP Physics, not a fun class for me, and I made myself so anxious over that class, and all of those thoughts that I was having before just came back in a torrent because it was so much worse because I was consistently failing and I was getting almost a D in that class. There was points where I did have a D and I was like, this can't happen. I won't be in an honor society anymore. I will not be able to be an Illinois State Scholar. Everything will go out the window that I've been working towards, and that cannot happen. I made myself physically sick. I was getting migraines. I had stomach aches, I was crying myself to sleep where I was probably dehydrated, and I did not know what to do. I was considering dropping out of the class, but there was a part of me that just felt this hanging guilt of if I drop out, I'm never gonna know if I could do this, if I could prove myself, if I could get better, and I was just so frustrated. It sucked. It was terrible. I hated it. The one thing that really helped me get through all of this was having a teacher, a mentor that was willing to sit down with me and work at my level and say to me that you can do this, that I know you have the potential to be able to do this. You need to just get out of your own way and you need to be able to just take a deep breath and let's work through this together. And so he would meet with me several times a week during my homeroom period and just go over homework assignments with me. He would go over quizzes and tests with me. He would just consistently review material and just help me to pound it into my brain and explain it to me one-on-one so that I could get it explained to me in a way that I understood. And he was so patient with me and understanding and was just willing to match my enthusiasm to learn, to be able to succeed, to get myself out of this rut that I had put myself in. And by the end of my junior year, I had gotten almost an A in a class that I had a D in at one point. That was insane to me because I never thought that that would happen. And I think that that was the best grade that I had gotten in a science class thus far throughout my high school experience, which was amazing to me that a class that I was bombing at one point, I could end up being most successful in. It was outrageous, and I felt so proud walking out of that class at the end of my junior year of high school because I had made it through, and I had learned so much about myself as a student and about the way that I learned, and ultimately I realized, like, it's not the letter grade that matters. Like, it's really not. It's about the work that you're willing to put into your education. And so for me, I sort of looked at all of my successes a little bit differently because it wasn't like, oh, I got an A on this or I was in the 99th percentile in this. It was that I got to all those places because I cared about my education, because I cared about making sure that my teachers knew that I wanted to participate and wanted to be involved, and that I saw the work that they were doing and appreciated it. That I was willing to take the time to say thank you, to ask questions, and be willing to learn and willing to be actively engaged and show that I care about the time that my teacher is taking to prepare lesson plans and put homework assignments together and to help teach me something, to give me a foundation for my future. I just learned so many life lessons from taking AP Physics, more than I ever thought I would ever learn. Like, I came out of that class with so much more than I ever thought I would, and I'm so grateful, and it's all because I had a teacher that was willing to work with me and willing to get me through a really, really challenging point in my life. And the amount of life lessons from that class that I still carry with me to this day is immense. And I walked into my senior year with a whole new sense of freedom. Instead of taking another AP Science class and another AP Math class and inundating myself with classes that I knew didn't reflect my skill set, I decided to take a crap ton load of English classes. I took an AP Lit class, I took a Lit and Film class, I took a college writing class, I took AP Psych because I wanted to take that, and all these classes for me were classes that I was excited about, and it felt like I finally had an enthusiasm to learn again, and I wasn't having to play by anybody's rules. I wasn't having to play by the own arbitrary rules that I had set up for myself that said that I needed to be in an AP class and that I needed to take all these classes that didn't reflect my own individual tastes and interests. And suddenly I had that passion and enthusiasm to learn again that I felt had been sapped away from me throughout my junior year. And it felt great. And now being in college, I'm in an environment with a whole bunch of other artsy and creative people, and we're all getting to learn and collaborate together, and I'm having fun in my classes, and it just feels like these things that I had loved so much in my childhood and my enthusiasm for education has just come rushing back to me all at once, because I no longer feel this need to impress people with a 4.0 GPA or an A on my report card, because it's not what's important. It's about the fact that I care and that I'm trying and that I want to be able to make a difference with the time that I have in the classroom. And I'm so grateful that I went through that experience, and I wish more people could go through that experience of being able to struggle, of wanting to get better. But I think the problem is so many kids start to struggle and they just don't see any light out of the tunnel. They don't see things getting better, or they just straight up don't care, which is even worse. And I just hope that if you're a student watching this, that if you've gone through your own experience where you've struggled academically, if you felt like it made you inferior, please know that that's not the case. If you talk to your teacher, if you let them know what you're going through, if you show any ability to want to get better, to want to improve, to want to work hard, your teachers will work with you because they care and they want to see that you have that enthusiasm to learn and that you want to get better. Because if you show them that, if you show them that I'm not just a letter on a piece of paper, that I'm here and I want to prove myself, they're going to work with you because it's their job to, and because they want to. I'm just so grateful that I've had so many educators that have been willing to work with me, that have been willing to talk with me and give me advice and just be a mentor, because I've needed that, and it's made me a so much more well-rounded person than I ever thought I would be. So thank you to all the teachers out there for all the work that you do. I see you and I appreciate you, especially during this time, so thank you. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful Teacher Appreciation Week. If you would like to comment down below a story or a memory you have with a teacher that you really admire or respect, I would love to read them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in a new one. Goodbye.